Imagine for a moment the nature of your deepest desires. Are they born from a place of inner peace, or are they a product of fleeting wants and the noisy demands of the ego? And true desires, the ones that speak to the core of who you are, come not from your personal whims, but from something far greater, something divine. When the yearning for someone enters your life, it isn't a casual craving, it's a call from the universe, from God, that beckons you toward growth, transformation, and alignment with your deepest purpose. This desire will not rush you, nor will it bind you in fear. It will guide you with love and patience, nurturing you into the best version of yourself. Today, let's explore the 4 signs that show you, beyond a shadow of doubt, whether your desire for someone is truly from God or simply from the ego. And true desire, the kind that resonates deep within, is often mistaken for the fleeting wants we experience day to day. It can be easy to confuse these subtle divine impulses with something driven by the ego, particularly when the emotions involved feel intense. But as we slow down, pause, and allow ourselves the space to feel what is truly within us, we begin to notice the difference. The first sign that a desire is not from our own ego, but from something far greater, something divine, is that it comes from a place of authenticity. It isn't tied to fleeting whims or superficial needs, but rather to the very essence of who we are. We often find ourselves chasing desires that feel urgent or desperate. These are the cravings born from the ego, the sense of lack within us that seeks fulfillment outside of ourselves. We might feel we need someone to validate us, to heal us, to complete us, as if there's something inherently wrong or incomplete within. These desires are born from a place of scarcity, of fear, and they come with an expectation that the external world can fill that void. However, the desires placed by God, the ones that are part of our true purpose, are never born from lack. They emerge from a place of wholeness. They do not demand that we find completion in another, but rather they inspire us to come into deeper alignment with our true selves. They push us not toward dependence, but toward growth and evolution. Authenticity is key here. A desire inspired by the divine will feel grounded, natural, and connected to your higher self. It is not something that forces itself into your life with a sense of urgency or drama. It is calm, balanced, and certain in its presence. When you reflect on it, it feels expansive rather than contracting. It feels like a natural next step in your life, not a forced attempt to make something happen. Furthermore, God-inspired desires serve not only to fulfill us, but to transform us. They will not only lead us toward connection with others, but also toward connection with the self, our highest, most authentic self. These desires encourage us to evolve, to grow, to heal the wounds that might otherwise keep us stuck in the past. They challenge us to rise beyond our limitations, to step into a greater version of ourselves, even if that means stepping into the unknown. They move us toward a better, fuller life, even if that path is not always easy or clear. When the desire for someone is from God, it does not demand instant gratification. It teaches us patience and trust in divine timing. The ego, on the other hand, is often impatient, seeking immediate results, desiring things to happen now. The divine desire, however, unfolds naturally in its own time. It does not force things to happen. Instead, it invites us to trust that everything is happening as it should, in its perfect rhythm. It's like a dance where we move with the flow of life rather than pushing against it. We are given what we need when we are ready for it, not before. The way these desires unfold reflects the peace that accompanies them. They are never rushed, nor are they accompanied by a sense of urgency or pressure. They teach us that we do not need to chase after anything because we are not lacking anything. What is truly meant for us will find us, and when it does, it will feel as though everything has aligned just as it should. There is no struggle, only surrender to what is meant to be. The most significant distinguishing factor between a desire born of God and one born of the ego is how it feels within the realm of love and fear. Ego-driven desires often come from a place of fear of being alone, fear of not being loved, fear of missing out. These fears create attachments that limit our freedom and bind us in expectations that only lead to disappointment. On the other hand, desires inspired by God come from a place of love for ourselves, love for others, and love for life itself. They don't come with strings attached. They are free, expansive, and expansive in nature. There is no pressure to make them work, no sense that we must hold on to them at all costs. Rather, they encourage us to love without conditions, to give without expectation, and to receive with an open heart. When we experience a desire for someone that resonates with the divine, it encourages us to love without needing to possess, to connect without demanding control. It opens our hearts rather than shutting them, inviting us to embrace all that life has to offer without fear or doubt. It is a love that frees us rather than constricting us. So when we look at our desires, whether they are for someone or something else, let's ask ourselves, is this desire coming from a place of authenticity, growth, and love? Does it inspire us to become more of who we truly are? Or does it simply feed the ego's need for validation? When our desires are aligned with the divine, they lead us to our greatest potential, to our most authentic self, and to the most fulfilling connections. These desires are never born of fear, but always of love. And it is this love that guides us home. When you feel a deep desire for someone, it's not always clear whether this yearning comes from within yourself or from a greater divine source. One of the most powerful indicators that your desire is truly from God is that it sparks growth and transformation. Unlike the desires driven by the ego, which tend to focus on instant gratification or external validation, the desires placed in your heart by a higher power serve a far more profound purpose. They guide you toward becoming your highest self. They challenge you to evolve, not just in your relationship with others, but in your relationship with yourself. A desire that is truly divine compels you to look inward, to heal old wounds, and to break free from limiting beliefs. When you feel this desire, it isn't just about the person you're attracted to or the connection you want to cultivate. It's about what that connection can teach you about yourself, about life, and about the world around you. These divine desires don't just seek to fill an empty space within you, they seek to nurture your soul, to expand your understanding of love and compassion, and to encourage you to grow into a better version of who you are. It's easy to think that when we long for someone, it's simply because we want their love, approval, or companionship. But true divine desires go much deeper than this. They aren't about taking something from someone else. They are about recognizing the potential for mutual growth and spiritual connection. When you desire someone for the right reasons, it's not about needing them to complete you, but about seeing the possibility for both of you to elevate each other's lives. It's about the way this person can help you unlock new dimensions of your being and how you in turn can inspire them to grow in their own journey. At times you may wonder if the desire you feel is misplaced or simply a product of your imagination. But when a desire is truly from God, it doesn't just stay within the realm of personal longing, it evolves. It moves you beyond your comfort zone, urging you to confront your fears and limiting beliefs, and challenging you to step into your full potential. It compels you to heal old wounds and to recognize the patterns in your life that no longer serve you. It invites you to embrace vulnerability, to open your heart in ways you may have never done before. In this process of transformation, the desire doesn't feel burdensome or overwhelming. Instead, it feels liberating. The more you surrender to this divine desire, the more you are freed from the chains of fear and self-doubt that have held you back. As you let go of the need for control and instead trust the process, you start to feel a sense of peace. There is no urgency, no rush to force things to happen. Instead, the desire grows organically, and with it you begin to see changes not just in your external world, but in your internal world. What makes divine desires so transformative is that they don't simply ask for change, they inspire it. They challenge you to step into your power, to trust in the divine timing of the universe, and to recognize that growth isn't always easy or instantaneous. Sometimes it's a slow unfolding, like the blossoming of a flower that opens to the sun when the time is right. You might not always understand why or how certain things are happening, but there is an underlying sense of trust that everything is working toward your greater good. This transformation is not confined to personal growth alone. As you change, your relationships with others begin to change as well. The desire placed in your heart by God doesn't just transform you in isolation, it encourages you to become a better partner, a better friend, and a more loving person. It teaches you to embrace others with compassion and understanding, knowing that they too are on their own journey of growth. When you approach relationships with this kind of divine perspective, you begin to see others not as obstacles or sources of validation, but as mirrors of your own potential. The people who cross your path become the teachers, the guides, and the companions who help you grow in unexpected ways. The desire that is truly from God doesn't just want to take, it wants to give. It is rooted in an energy of abundance, not scarcity. It comes with the understanding that as you grow and transform, so too will the world around you. And as you walk this path, you will find that your relationships become deeper, richer, and more fulfilling because they are based not on the need to possess or control, but on the shared desire for mutual growth. Ultimately, the desire that is from God will feel expansive rather than restrictive. It invites you to grow, to evolve, and to become the fullest expression of who you are meant to be. It pulls you toward a life of purpose, of love, and of profound connection. And while it may not always be easy, this divine desire always leads you to a place of greater peace, a place where you can stand tall in your own truth, knowing that every step you take is part of the beautiful unfolding of your spiritual journey. When we seek something deeply, it's easy to get lost in the confusion of what our heart is truly desiring. We may wonder if the feelings we have for someone are simply our own, or if they are part of a greater plan, a divine purpose unfolding. One clear sign that a desire is coming from God is when it aligns with a deeper, higher purpose. Divine desires are not arbitrary, they are part of the grand design of our lives, connecting us to something larger than ourselves. They come with an inherent sense of direction, as if they fit into the larger puzzle of our existence in ways we may not always immediately understand. A desire that is aligned with your purpose feels harmonious. There is a sense of flow to it, as if the desire itself is part of your personal evolution. It doesn't feel like something you are trying to force into your life, nor does it feel like a random distraction. Instead, it feels like a natural part of your journey, something that simply makes sense. This alignment creates an inner knowing that you are headed in the right direction, that the relationship or connection you are desiring is not just coincidental, but rather a significant part of your path. When you are connected to your purpose, everything around you seems to reflect that truth. You may notice that your actions, words, and even the people you meet seem to affirm the direction you are taking. There is a sense of synchronicity, as if the universe itself is confirming that the desire you have is part of a larger, meaningful process. This isn't to say that every step will be easy or free of challenges, but there is an underlying sense of rightness in the pursuit of this desire. It feels like you are walking a path that, though it may not always be clear, leads to a place of greater fulfillment and alignment. One of the ways this alignment with purpose shows up is through the way it complements your inner growth. Divine desires push us toward becoming our highest selves, not just in terms of external achievements, but in terms of our inner development. These desires are not about personal gain or superficial success, but rather about cultivating a life that reflects who we are at our core. As we follow these desires, we naturally begin to shed old layers of fear, doubt, and insecurity. We move toward authenticity, toward a life that feels true to who we really are. This is not a process that feels forced or contrived. It feels like a coming home, a gradual unfolding of who we are meant to be. When a desire is truly from God, it speaks to a deeper sense of purpose, one that is not limited to our individual lives, but is also part of a greater interconnectedness with the world. It often leads us to realize that the desires we have are not just for our own benefit, but also for the benefit of others. We are called to live in a way that impacts the world positively, whether that means being a better partner, a more loving friend, or a more compassionate human being. The desires placed within us are not isolated or self-centered, they connect us to something greater. As we move toward these desires, we also move toward a greater understanding of our role in the world and how we can contribute to the collective good. This is where the concept of divine timing becomes important. The desire that aligns with your purpose will not rush you. It will unfold at the right time, in the right way. There is no pressure, no anxiety. You are not chasing after this desire, but instead allowing it to come into your life in its own perfect time. This timing may not always align with your expectations or desires, but there is a deep sense of trust that everything is happening as it should. You may not understand why things are unfolding the way they are, but there is peace in knowing that the universe is orchestrating everything for your highest good. This kind of alignment does not come from forcing things to happen, but from allowing things to happen in their own time, trusting the process as it unfolds. When you are in alignment with your purpose, you begin to see the connections between your desires and the deeper spiritual lessons they bring. What may seem like a simple longing for someone or something becomes an opportunity for growth and transformation. Every experience, every interaction, and every relationship offers a chance to deepen your understanding of yourself and of the world around you. You begin to see these desires not as isolated wants, but as integral parts of your journey toward greater self-awareness, self-love, and spiritual fulfillment. Ultimately, when your desires align with your purpose, they feel grounded and unshakable. There is no confusion, no questioning whether you should pursue them. You know that they are part of your path, and that following them will lead you to a place of greater fulfillment. This sense of alignment creates a powerful, unshakable confidence in your choices. You no longer have to search for external validation or seek approval from others. You trust yourself and the process, knowing that your desires are guiding you toward your true calling. So, when you feel a deep, persistent desire for someone or something, take a moment to reflect, does this desire feel aligned with the larger purpose of your life? Does it encourage your growth, contribute to your well-being, and help you step into the person you are meant to be? If the answer is yes, then you can rest assured that this desire is not just a passing whim, it is a divine calling, guiding you toward a greater understanding of yourself and your place in the world. In the pursuit of our deepest desires, there are times when we may find ourselves rushing, seeking immediate gratification, or feeling anxious about whether or not we will ever experience the outcome we yearn for. In contrast, desires placed by God rarely come with a sense of urgency. They unfold at their own pace, gently inviting us to trust in divine timing. This is one of the clearest signs that the desire we feel is truly from a higher source, because God-inspired desires teach us the virtues of patience, trust, and surrender. When we recognize that the desire for someone or something is coming from a divine place, we also realize that it is not something to chase after relentlessly, but rather to allow to unfold in its own time. The desire that stems from the ego often feels demanding and impatient. It arises from a place of fear or lack, and with it comes the pressure to make things happen now. The ego wants to see instant results, to control outcomes, and to assert itself in the world. It creates a sense of urgency, pushing us to act impulsively or try to force situations to meet our expectations. But desires from God are different. They flow naturally, like the steady movement of a river, and they teach us the beauty of letting go of control. There is a deep knowing that what is meant for us will come to us at the right moment, and until then we are called to trust the process and be patient. And patience is not just about waiting, it's about trusting. When a desire is from God, it invites us into a space of complete surrender. We stop trying to rush things or force them into being. Instead, we align ourselves with the flow of life, knowing that there is a larger plan at work. It is an invitation to release any expectations we may have and to let go of the need to manipulate circumstances to suit our own desires. Patience is a quiet form of trust that says, I believe in the timing of the universe, and I trust that what is meant for me will come to me when the time is right. This trust in divine timing helps us cultivate peace in our hearts. When we let go of the pressure to control outcomes, we release the anxiety that often accompanies our desires. There is a calmness that settles in, a reassurance that we don't have to force anything. We can take a step back and know that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. We are no longer driven by fear or the need to prove anything. Instead, we become more grounded, more present, and more open to the possibilities that life brings our way. This peaceful acceptance is a sign that our desires are in harmony with the divine order, rather than being driven by the chaotic impulses of the ego. God-inspired desires also help us cultivate the wisdom of timing. There are moments in our lives when we may feel the pull to move forward, to take action, to make things happen. But there are also times when we are called to rest, to reflect, and to allow things to evolve on their own. The divine teaches us that not every moment is meant for action, and not every desire needs to be pursued right away. Some desires require preparation, growth, and healing before they can be fully realized. Divine timing allows us to honor the natural rhythm of our lives, to recognize when it is time to take action and when it is time to step back and wait. This is where the power of surrender comes into play. When we surrender to divine timing, we stop fighting against the natural flow of life. We release the need to control when or how things happen, and instead we place our trust in the greater wisdom of the universe. Surrender is not about passivity, but about letting go of resistance and accepting that we are a part of something much larger than ourselves. It's about recognizing that we are not alone in this journey and that the universe is working with us, not against us. This surrender allows us to embrace the present moment, to find peace in the waiting, and to let go of the anxiety that often comes with the desire for immediate results. When we trust the timing of our desires, we also learn to embrace the journey rather than focusing solely on the destination. The divine is not just concerned with the outcome, it's concerned with how we evolve as we walk the path. Every step, every moment is part of our growth, and the desire that is placed within us serves not only to fulfill us, but to teach us along the way. When we embrace divine timing, we allow ourselves the grace to grow at our own pace, to learn what we need to learn, and to experience life as it comes. In the end, desires that come from God do not come with pressure or anxiety. They come with peace, trust, and the understanding that everything will unfold at the perfect moment. When we stop forcing things, when we stop chasing after outcomes, we create the space for our desires to come to fruition in the most beautiful and natural way. And patience in this sense is not about waiting for something to happen. It is about trusting that everything is already happening as it should, and allowing the universe to reveal its perfect timing. When we embrace this, we find peace in the waiting, joy in the journey, and fulfillment in the knowledge that all is well. When we think about desire, particularly the longing for another person, it's easy to get caught in the emotions that come with attachment and expectation. Often we may feel the pull of attraction, driven by a need to fulfill some empty space within us. However, when a desire is truly from God, it comes from a place of love, not fear. These divine desires are rooted in an energy of pure, unconditional love that seeks connection, growth, and unity rather than possession, control, or dependence. They come not from a place of insecurity, but from a place of peace, allowing us to give and receive freely without strings attached. Desires born of the ego are often laced with fear. Fear of being alone, fear of not being good enough, or fear of missing out. When we desire someone from a place of fear, we create expectations that limit the potential of the relationship. We become attached to outcomes, believing that only if we get the other person's love or approval will we feel whole or validated. This type of desire is constricting. It narrows our vision and creates a sense of dependency. We may find ourselves trying to control the situation, manipulate the other person, or impose our own expectations upon them in order to feel secure. In contrast, a divine desire grounded in love is expansive. It invites us to connect without needing to possess or control. There is freedom in love that is not driven by fear. Instead of seeking validation or trying to fill a perceived lack, love-based desire comes from a place of wholeness. When we experience love as the core of our desires, we are not seeking to complete ourselves through someone else, but instead we are offering our complete selves to another. There is no need for manipulation or attachment, because the love we give is not conditional upon receiving something in return. It is freely given, and in turn, we are open to receiving love in its purest, most abundant form. This type of love transcends the limitations of the ego. It isn't possessive, but instead it creates a space for both individuals to grow and evolve, both together and individually. When a desire is from God, it brings out the best in us. It nurtures our growth, encouraging us to become better versions of ourselves, not in the sense of needing to prove something, but in the sense of aligning more fully with our authentic selves. It allows us to express our true nature, to be more vulnerable, more open, and more compassionate toward others. It helps us to see the potential in people and relationships, to love them without expectations, and to hold space for them to grow as well. Fear-driven desires, on the other hand, restrict and limit. They create barriers and expectations that prevent us from truly experiencing the depth and fullness of love. When we are attached to outcomes, when we base our happiness on whether or not someone reciprocates our feelings or meets our needs, we are operating from a place of fear. We are afraid of being alone, of not being loved, or of losing the person we care about. This fear causes us to put up walls, to keep a part of ourselves hidden, or to try to control the relationship in order to feel secure. However, love is not controlling. True love allows both people to be who they are without fear of judgment or rejection. It creates a safe space where vulnerability can be shared and where both individuals can grow together. When a desire comes from love, it doesn't come with a checklist of expectations or demands. It doesn't ask for perfection or try to change the other person. It simply seeks connection, understanding, and mutual respect. There is no need to manipulate or force anything. The love simply flows, creating an environment of acceptance and peace. Love-driven desires also have the power to heal. They bring out the best in both people, encouraging growth and self-awareness. When we desire someone from a place of love, we are inviting healing into our lives. We are learning to accept ourselves and others as we are, to forgive past hurts, and to move forward with an open heart. Love has a transformative quality. It teaches us to see beyond surface-level appearances and to connect with the essence of another person. It helps us move beyond our fears, doubts, and insecurities, allowing us to become more whole and integrated within ourselves. In relationships where desire is based in love, we are not merely looking for fulfillment of our personal needs. We are seeking to deepen our understanding of the other person, to learn from them, and to grow together. There is no competition, no jealousy, no need for validation. Instead, there is a mutual sharing of love and a deep connection that fosters growth and transformation for both individuals. The love that arises from a divine desire is freeing. It doesn't bind us to expectations or limitations, but allows us to experience the full depth of connection without fear. Ultimately, the desire that is truly from God, born of love, is a force for good in our lives. It connects us to something greater than ourselves, expanding our capacity for love, compassion, and understanding. It is not a desire to take or to control, but a desire to give, to serve, and to uplift. It is rooted in trust, not fear, and allows us to experience life and relationships in their purest, most authentic form. When we cultivate desires born of love, we open ourselves to a deeper, more meaningful existence, a life filled with connection, growth, and a love that is boundless and ever-expanding. In life, we often stand at the crossroads of uncertainty, wondering if our struggles hold meaning. Yet unseen forces often work quietly to prepare us for blessings beyond our imagination. These signs, though subtle, can guide us if we learn to recognize them. There are moments in life when a strange and unshakable feeling takes hold, a subtle, almost invisible force whispering that where you are and what you're doing no longer feels right. It's not dissatisfaction with your achievements or relationships, nor is it an obvious crisis. Instead, it is a quiet but persistent unease, a restlessness that seems to emerge from the depths of your being. This feeling, though uncomfortable, is not to be feared or ignored. It serves as a profound signal, a stirring from within that something greater awaits, a sign that life is shifting, urging you to prepare for transformation. This inner restlessness is not random. It carries profound purpose. At its core, it is an invitation to examine your current state with unflinching honesty. Often we grow accustomed to routines, settling into the familiar because it feels safe. We define ourselves by the roles we play, the expectations placed upon us, and the goals we chase. Over time, these structures, once meaningful, may become restrictive, leaving us feeling disconnected from our true selves. The restlessness arises when the soul begins to resist this confinement, calling us to step beyond the boundaries we've grown used to. It is not a sign of failure, but a reminder that stagnation is incompatible with growth. When this restlessness emerges, it can be tempting to suppress it, dismissing it as a passing mood or a phase of discontent. Yet ignoring it only deepens the feeling of being unmoved. The unease intensifies, manifesting in subtle but significant ways, perhaps in sleepless nights, or a pervasive sense that you are simply going through the motions. This discomfort is not here to torment you, it exists to awaken you. It asks you to question, is this where you are meant to be? Is this how you are meant to live? These questions may not have immediate answers, but the act of asking them sets the stage for transformation. Inner restlessness also acts as a teacher, one that urges you to reflect on the things that truly matter. It compels you to confront truths you might otherwise avoid. What once brought you joy may no longer feel fulfilling, and what once seemed essential may now appear trivial. This shift in perspective can be unsettling, but it is necessary. The unease pulls you inward, away from distractions, and toward a deeper understanding of your purpose. It challenges you to identify the areas in your life that no longer align with your values, aspirations, or sense of self. In doing so, it creates space for clarity to emerge. This process of questioning and re-evaluation can feel isolating. You may find it difficult to explain to others why you feel this way, and their well-meaning reassurances can sometimes add to your confusion. But you have everything you need, they might say, or why change what's already working? Their words, though kind, may fail to address the subtle but undeniable call within you. This restlessness is not rooted in a lack of gratitude, it is rooted in a desire for authenticity. It is your soul's way of reminding you that life is not merely about existing, it is about evolving. As the restlessness deepens, it often leads to moments of stillness where you are left alone with your thoughts and feelings. These moments can be uncomfortable, as they force you to confront parts of yourself you may have neglected or hidden away. Yet within this discomfort lies an opportunity for profound self-discovery. When you sit with your restlessness, instead of running from it, you begin to uncover its source. You may realize that you have outgrown certain patterns, relationships, or ambitions. What once fit you no longer does, like a pair of shoes that have become too tight. This realization, though painful, is a necessary step toward growth. The beauty of inner restlessness is that it never leaves you where it found you. It may push you to explore new paths, even if those paths seem uncertain or unfamiliar. It invites you to dream again, to reconnect with the passions and desires that may have been buried under layers of routine or practicality. In this way, restlessness becomes a catalyst for courage. It encourages you to take risks, not recklessly, but with a sense of trust that there is something greater waiting for you on the other side. This process is not linear, nor is it always easy. There will be moments of doubt and fear, where the pull of the familiar feels stronger than the call of the unknown. Yet if you lean into the discomfort and trust its wisdom, the restlessness will guide you. It will teach you to listen to your intuition, to the quiet voice within that knows what you need before you do. This voice, often drowned out by the noise of daily life, becomes clearer as you embrace the unease and allow it to transform you. In time, you may come to see this inner restlessness not as an affliction, but as a gift. It is a sign that you are being prepared for something greater than you can currently comprehend. It asks for patience, for faith, and for a willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. Though it may feel like an unsettling force, its purpose is ultimately one of alignment, aligning you with your truest self and with the blessings that are being prepared for you. Life often surprises us with its twists and turns, leading us down paths we never anticipated. Among these surprises are moments when doors that seemed so promising suddenly close. Opportunities slip through our fingers, relationships end abruptly, and dreams we held dear are seemingly denied. At first it can feel like failure, rejection, or even a punishment. Yet when we pause and look closer, these closed doors often carry a deeper meaning. They are not arbitrary or cruel, they are purposeful. They serve as gentle, sometimes forceful, redirections, guiding us towards something far greater than what we originally sought. When a door closes, the immediate reaction is often frustration or grief. We pour our time, energy, and hope into pursuits, believing they will yield the outcomes we desire. To see those efforts seemingly go to waste can feel deeply disheartening. But the pain of a closed door often stems from our limited perspective. We are bound by what we know and can see, clinging to our expectations as though they are the only possibilities. What we fail to realize in those moments is that a closed door is not the end of the journey. Instead, it is a divine recalibration, steering us away from paths that may seem right but are ultimately not meant for us. The timing of a closed door is rarely convenient. It often arrives when we feel most invested, confident, or ready. Yet these moments are deliberate. They challenge us to confront the fragility of our plans and the illusions of control we hold. When a path is blocked, it forces us to pause and reassess. Were we truly pursuing what was best for us, or were we chasing something out of habit, fear, or external pressure? Closed doors act as mirrors, reflecting back to us our intentions and exposing whether they were in alignment with our true purpose. At times, the closure is protective. What seems like a missed opportunity might in reality be a blessing in disguise. We may never know what dangers, distractions, or difficulties awaited us had the door remained open. A position we didn't get might have led to burnout or unhappiness. A relationship that ended might have held us back from becoming the person we are meant to be. The wisdom behind closed doors often becomes clear only in hindsight, when we look back and realize how much better things turned out than we could have planned. There is also a humbling quality to the experience of a door closing. It reminds us that we are not the sole architects of our lives. While we have the power to make choices and take actions, there are forces beyond our comprehension shaping our paths. These forces, though unseen, work with precision and purpose, aligning events in ways we could never orchestrate on our own. Trusting this process requires faith that what is denied to us is not a punishment, but a redirection towards something more meaningful. Closed doors also teach us resilience. In moments of disappointment, we are presented with a choice to give up or to adapt. The experience of rejection sharpens our ability to navigate uncertainty. It strengthens our resolve and forces us to cultivate patience. When one door closes, we must seek another, often in unexpected places. This search can lead us to opportunities we would have overlooked had our original plans succeeded. The ability to pivot and remain open to new possibilities is a skill forged in the fires of setbacks. The lessons learned from closed doors are not merely practical, they are deeply spiritual. They strip away our attachments to specific outcomes and invite us to surrender to a greater plan. This surrender is not an act of defeat, but an act of trust. It is a recognition that the path we envisioned may not be the path that will lead us to our fullest potential. In letting go of what we thought we wanted, we make room for what we truly need. In the face of a closed door, it is easy to dwell on the loss or to question our worth. Yet these moments are opportunities to reflect on the nature of our desires. Were we seeking validation, comfort, or security? Or were we pursuing growth, purpose, and fulfillment? The difference is significant. Closed doors often reveal the gaps between our wants and our needs, urging us to realign our focus. They challenge us to move beyond the surface and to seek the deeper currents of life that lead to lasting joy and peace. As time passes, the wisdom of closed doors becomes clearer. They remind us that life is not a straight line, but a journey of twists and turns. Each closed door, no matter how painful, is a step towards something greater. It teaches us patience, resilience, and faith. It humbles us, protects us, and redirects us. Though we may not understand their purpose in the moment, closed doors are not the end of the story. They are a vital part of the unfolding narrative, one that leads us toward blessings we might never have imagined. Life is often described as a series of challenges, but there are moments when the difficulties we face seem unusually intense, persistent, or out of proportion to what we expect. These unusual challenges can arrive unannounced, disrupting the rhythm of our days and leaving us questioning why they have come into our lives. They may take the form of unexpected setbacks, profound personal trials, or circumstances that test the very core of who we are. While they may feel overwhelming, these challenges are rarely without purpose. They are transformative experiences designed to refine, strengthen, and prepare us for what lies ahead. When faced with unusual challenges, the first instinct is often resistance. We want to return to normalcy, to the comfort of predictability. The disruption feels unfair, as though life has singled us out for a burden we did not choose. Yet within these challenges lies an invitation to grow. They demand that we stretch beyond our limits, confront our fears, and discover reserves of strength we never knew we had. The weight of the challenge forces us to look inward, uncovering qualities such as resilience, determination, and faith that might have remained dormant without the trial. These challenges often arrive at pivotal moments, when we are on the brink of change or transition. They may come just as we are stepping into new roles, pursuing long-held dreams, or striving for a goal that feels just out of reach. At first, the timing seems cruel. Why, just as we are trying to move forward, does life place obstacles in our path? But these challenges are not random, they are purposeful. They act as tests, ensuring we are prepared for what we seek. They refine our character and deepen our understanding of ourselves, preparing us to handle the blessings that may follow. Unusual challenges also have a way of revealing truths we might otherwise ignore. They strip away illusions, exposing what is genuine and what is not. Relationships may be tested during difficult times, showing us who truly supports us and who does not. Our own beliefs and priorities may come into sharper focus, forcing us to reassess what truly matters. In this way, challenges act as a mirror, reflecting back to us the reality of our lives and urging us to make necessary changes. The intensity of these challenges can be isolating. It may feel as though no one else understands the weight of what we are carrying. Yet this solitude is often an essential part of the process. It allows us to connect with our inner strength and wisdom, unencumbered by outside noise. In the stillness that accompanies struggle, we find clarity. We begin to see the patterns and lessons woven into the fabric of our trials. This clarity is not always immediate, but it grows with time, offering insights that guide us forward. Unusual challenges also teach us patience. In a world that often rewards speed and efficiency, these trials force us to slow down. Progress becomes less about quick results and more about steady, deliberate effort. We learn to endure setbacks without losing hope, to take small steps even when the path ahead is unclear. This patience is not passive. It is an active engagement with the process of growth. It requires faith that despite the difficulty of the moment, there is meaning and purpose in what we are experiencing. The nature of these challenges often requires us to rely on qualities we might not typically associate with strength, such as vulnerability, humility, and openness. Admitting that we are struggling, asking for help, or accepting that we do not have all the answers can feel uncomfortable. Yet these actions are not signs of weakness, they are signs of courage. They show a willingness to face reality and to engage with the process of transformation. In embracing our vulnerability, we create space for healing and growth. There is also an element of unpredictability to unusual challenges that tests our adaptability. Plans may fall apart, expectations may go unmet, and the future may seem uncertain. These moments force us to let go of control and to navigate life's twists and turns with flexibility and grace. They teach us to find strength not in rigid certainty, but in our ability to adapt and persevere. This adaptability becomes a source of resilience, enabling us to face future challenges with greater confidence. Unusual challenges are not meant to break us, though they may feel that way in the moment. They are meant to build us, shaping us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate versions of ourselves. The struggle is not without purpose, it is a process of transformation. Through these challenges, we discover not only what we are capable of, but also who we truly are. We come to see that the very difficulties we once wished to avoid were the catalysts for our growth, preparing us for the blessings and opportunities that await on the other side. There are times in life when, without warning, the world seems to quiet down, and we find ourselves alone. People who once filled our days may drift away, relationships may fade, or circumstances may leave us standing in a space of stillness. This sudden solitude can feel unsettling, as though life has shifted the ground beneath our feet. Yet within this quiet space lies an invitation, a call to step inward, to listen to the whispers of our soul, and to rediscover parts of ourselves that have been buried under the noise of daily living. Solitude often arrives uninvited, creating a void where the familiar once existed. At first it may feel like loss. The absence of companionship or the routines we once relied on can evoke feelings of loneliness and even grief. However, this emptiness is not a punishment, it is a canvas. It creates room for something new to emerge. When the distractions and busyness of life fall away, what remains is the essence of who we are. This sudden stillness provides the opportunity to reconnect with our innermost thoughts, desires, and truths, things that often go unnoticed in the rush of the world. In solitude, we are faced with ourselves in ways that can be both uncomfortable and enlightening. Without the influence of others, we begin to hear our own voice more clearly. This voice may bring up questions we have long avoided. Who am I without my roles, my titles, or the expectations of others? What do I truly want? And what do I truly need? These questions, though challenging, are essential. They strip away the layers of external validation and bring us closer to our authentic selves. This period of solitude also offers a chance to rest and replenish. The constant engagement with the outside world can be draining, leaving little time for introspection or renewal. In the stillness, we find an opportunity to breathe, to pause, and to let go of the burdens we carry. It is in these quiet moments that we often rediscover the simple joys of being present, watching the play of light through a window, feeling the rhythm of our own heartbeat, or simply existing without the need to perform or achieve. The absence of external noise can also heighten our sensitivity to the subtle currents of life. In solitude, we may notice things we overlooked before: the beauty of nature, the depth of our own thoughts, or the way small moments can carry profound meaning. This heightened awareness helps us to reconnect with the world in a more deliberate and mindful way. We begin to see that solitude is not about isolation, but about intimacy with ourselves, with life, and with the greater forces that guide us. Solitude can also be a space for healing. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it can be difficult to process our emotions or confront our pain. The quietness of solitude allows us to sit with these feelings, to acknowledge them without judgment, and to begin the work of letting them go. This process may be uncomfortable, as it requires vulnerability and honesty, but it is also profoundly liberating. In solitude, we find the courage to face our wounds and the strength to begin to heal them. There is also creative energy that arises in solitude. Without the distractions of the outside world, our minds have the freedom to wander, to imagine, and to dream. Ideas that were once buried under the weight of obligation may come to the surface, and we may find ourselves inspired in unexpected ways. This creativity is not limited to art or expression. It is the creativity of life itself, a renewed ability to see possibilities and to envision a path forward. While solitude may feel isolating at times, it often brings clarity about our relationships and connections. In the absence of constant interaction, we gain a deeper appreciation for the people who truly matter in our lives. We come to understand which relationships nourish us and which may have been built on convenience or expectation. This insight helps us to cultivate more meaningful connections when the time comes to re-engage with the world. Solitude is also a space of transformation. It strips away the unnecessary and brings us back to what is essential. It is in this quiet, sacred space that we are often prepared for the next chapter of our lives. We may not understand why solitude has come to us in the moment, but as time unfolds, its purpose becomes clear. It strengthens our foundation, aligns us with our true selves, and prepares us to step forward with greater clarity and intention. Through the experience of sudden solitude, we are reminded that being alone is not the same as being lonely. It is a gift, albeit one that is often misunderstood. In solitude, we discover that we are never truly alone, for within us lies a depth of connection to ourselves, to life, and to the greater mystery of existence that can only be fully realized in the quiet moments when the world falls away. Life has a way of communicating with us, often in ways so subtle that they can easily go unnoticed. This quiet guidance doesn't shout or demand our attention. Instead, it nudges us gently, like a soft breeze redirecting the course of a sailboat. These moments of subtle guidance come in many forms of chance encounter, a fleeting thought, an unexpected delay. They are not random, they are intentional, orchestrated by forces beyond our understanding to lead us toward paths we might not otherwise consider. At first glance, these small signs may seem insignificant. A conversation with a stranger might linger in your mind, though you can't quite place why. A sudden change in circumstances might disrupt your plans, leaving you frustrated or confused. Yet if you pause and reflect, you begin to notice patterns. These seemingly minor occurrences often carry messages meant to shift your perspective, encourage a new direction, or affirm a choice you've already made. The challenge lies in recognizing them, for they do not announce themselves as guidance, but instead arrive in the quiet spaces of our lives. Subtle guidance often works through intuition, that inner voice or gut feeling that gently tugs at your awareness. It is not loud or forceful, but it carries a sense of knowing that transcends logic. You may find yourself drawn to a certain place or compelled to take an action that seems small yet feels significant. Intuition rarely comes with explanations. It simply presents itself, waiting for you to trust it. This trust is not always easy, especially in a world that values reason and evidence over instinct. Yet intuition is one of the most profound ways subtle guidance makes itself known. Another form of subtle guidance is the timing of events. A meeting that happens earlier than expected or an opportunity that arises just as you were about to give up can feel like mere coincidence. But these moments are often orchestrated with purpose. They align with your readiness, presenting themselves when you are most capable of receiving and acting upon them. The synchronicity of such events is not accidental. It is a reminder that life has a rhythm and order, even when it seems chaotic. Obstacles can also serve as subtle guidance, though they may not feel that way in the moment. When plans fall apart or progress is delayed, it can be tempting to see these moments as failures, but often they are redirecting you towards something better suited to your growth and purpose. A door that closes might be preventing you from walking into a situation that would not serve you, while a delay might be buying you the time you need to prepare for what lies ahead. These obstacles, though frustrating, carry lessons and opportunities if you are willing to see them. Subtle guidance frequently works through repetition. You might notice the same idea cropping up in conversations, books, or even your own thoughts. A recurring theme or image might catch your attention, urging you to explore it further. This repetition is not accidental. It is a way of reinforcing the message, ensuring it does not go unnoticed. When the same sign appears again and again, it is worth pausing to consider its significance and the direction it may be pointing you toward. Sometimes guidance comes in the form of an unshakable feeling of unease or discontent. You may find yourself restless, dissatisfied with circumstances that once seemed fulfilling. This discomfort is not meant to punish, but to propel you forward. It is a signal that you are outgrowing your current situation, and that it is time to seek something more aligned with your true self. The unease pushes you to explore, to question, and to make changes that might otherwise feel daunting. Nature, too, offers its own subtle guidance. The rhythms of the natural world, the changing seasons, the cycle of day and night serve as reminders of life's flow and the inevitability of change. A sudden shift in weather or an unexpected encounter with the natural world can carry a message urging you to slow down, pay attention, or embrace a new beginning. These moments often feel serendipitous, as though the world itself is speaking directly to you. Subtle guidance requires presence to be fully understood. In the rush of daily life, it is easy to overlook the signs that surround us. We become so focused on our plans and routines that we miss the gentle nudges steering us towards something greater. Cultivating awareness, whether through quiet reflection, mindfulness, or simply taking a moment to pause, allows us to attune ourselves to the guidance that is always available. It is in these moments of stillness that clarity emerges and the meaning behind the signs begins to reveal itself. Trust is an essential part of embracing subtle guidance. The messages may not always make sense immediately, and the paths they point to may feel uncertain or even uncomfortable. Yet this guidance is never aimless. It works with precision, aligning with your deepest needs and highest potential. Trusting this process means surrendering to the unknown, believing that what unfolds is part of a greater plan, even when the full picture is not yet visible. Over time, the wisdom of subtle guidance becomes clear. The small signs, the quiet nudges, and the unexpected twists all fit together like pieces of a puzzle, revealing a picture you could not have imagined on your own. What once seemed insignificant takes on profound meaning, and you begin to see how every moment of guidance was leading you toward a life more fulfilling and purposeful than you ever thought possible. In the tapestry of life, the threads of subtle guidance, unusual challenges, closed doors, inner restlessness, and sudden solitude weave a narrative far greater than we can comprehend in the moment. Each experience, no matter how small or profound, serves a purpose in shaping us for the blessings that await. What may seem like disruption or hardship is often the universe's way of aligning us with a higher path, teaching us resilience, trust, and self-discovery along the way. Through these moments, we are not abandoned but gently prepared, refined in the fires of growth, steered by whispers of wisdom, and strengthened in quiet stillness. They remind us that every challenge and every pause has meaning, guiding us toward a life of deeper fulfillment and purpose. To recognize this is to embrace the journey with faith, knowing that every step, no matter how uncertain, is leading us to a place of divine blessing and alignment.